Hi there, this is Pete with BoardGameBoost.com. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll be demonstrating the assembly of the ship stand products from BoardGameBoost.com for the game Star Wars Rebellion by Fantasy Flight Games. As you can see, these stands assemble very simply. There's a stand piece and then there's a base piece that snaps into it. All of the stands go together in identical ways. And then you can see that it holds the ship in with these two clips. No glue required. It doesn't damage the miniature in any way, and has minimal visual impact on the ship, on the board. So let's take a look at how it works. When you first receive the product in the mail, you're going to receive all these brackets of parts. First and foremost, 2 of those brackets will be labeled "Do Not Punch Spare Parts." These 2 brackets are in fact spare parts, and you won't need to use them unless you ever break a stand or lose one. So with this, you have all of your spare parts on 2 brackets, nice and kept together, so you can just go ahead and put these aside, store them somewhere in case you ever need them. For the remaining brackets, as you can see, there's a lot of parts here. These ultimately will need to all be punched out of these brackets. I recommend just doing a couple at a time and then assembling them. That way you don't have a huge pile of parts to contend with. Once you do punch those parts out, we are going to need to punch these holes out on every stand. A good way to do that is to use one of these base pieces that I described earlier. So this whole sheet is those base pieces that slide into every stand. You can see they come in 2 sizes, a small and a large. So I recommend punching out a large and using that for breaking these, for popping these holes out. These you want to do before you peel any paper off. So let's go ahead and punch one out, and I'll show you what I do. So again, it's this hole in the middle that you need to be punching out. I'll just take one of these pieces and kind of use an edge and just push on it until it snaps. Okay, and you can see in this case both those pieces fell out. Sometimes they'll just be hanging out here. As long as you've actually snapped them off when you push through, those small pieces will come off when you peel the paper off. As a word of warning, as you go through this process, you will be creating a lot of waste, these small pieces that break out. So you do want to make sure you're working on a nice, large, flat surface where you can collect all those and dispose of them nicely, because they certainly are small and you won't want them lying around if you have pets or children. So once you go through, you do need to go ahead and punch all these holes out, as I said. And then the next step is going to be to remove the paper. To do that, every product from BoardGameBoost.com comes with these small B tabs somewhere on every piece. The B stands for breakoff, and what you're going to do is, you see how there's a line under one of them. You're going to just snap that off away from the line like this. And what that does is it takes the paper with it, so that you don't need to be picking for an edge of the paper with your fingernail. This is going to save you a ton of time when you're peeling the paper. So again, I did one side, now I have the other one. I just break it off and peel the paper off. So you do need to do that also for every piece, but as you can see, in looking at these brackets, every single piece has those B tabs. Okay, let's go ahead and assemble this stand. As I mentioned before, every stand is going to need one of these base pieces. There are 2 sizes, a large and a small. You can tell which size any stand needs by this hole right here. If you can see, I have a large in my hand, but it's readily apparent that this is too big for that hole, so you know that you need a small. It goes together very simply. It just slides into place, and once you get it all lined up, you do need to apply a little pressure and it'll snap right in. And then you just want to make sure it's all the way in by looking at the side like this. It is in this case. And so now you have this assembled. By the way, you can disassemble and reassemble this as many times as you need. It will always stay firm. So if you want to take it apart for some reason, you can. You don't have to worry. It's not a one-way trip. Okay, and in this case, this stand is complete. That's all you ever have to do. That's the only assembly that's needed for any of the stands. Once you have a stand built, you can go ahead and put the ship into it. In the bottom right of every stand, there are the initials of what the stand is for. So in this case, this is a TIE fighter stand, but I'm actually going to demonstrate how to put most of the ships in using this right here, which is for a Mon-Cal cruiser. You can slide the ship into the clip either direction. Generally, though, you want this large fin to be in the back, just aesthetically. But again, it can go any direction. In this case, I'm just going to start it out a little bit ahead of the area. You can see it's loose here, and then I'm just going to slide it in until it's snug. Doesn't take long. It's snug in there, and everything's set, and then it'll just stand very nicely. All of the ships go in the same way. The only exception is the TIE fighter, and maybe one or two others, but in just a moment later in this video, I'll go through every ship quickly and show you how it snaps into the clip. One other thing I want to note is an optional feature. You can see that on every base piece, right on this arm, there are 2 notches cut, and that is for if you ever need to break that off. So here's an example with this AIRSPEEDER. You can see that the way it's held into the stand, it's very lopsided. It's facing out one way more than the other. So you can see if you ever want to do this, in this case I have this ship reversed so that it is hanging over this fin, and I don't really need this back here. The stand will be pretty stable without that. So if you want to break this off, those lines are so you're able to. I'll just go ahead and do it here, but you see I just broke it off, and now it's a nice flat surface there, and this takes up less space than it needs to. I'm sorry, less space than it would have on the board if you had left this intact. So that's your option if you want to do that, but obviously once you break it off, you can't go back. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see, assembly is very straightforward, pretty easy and simple to do. The remainder of this video is going to go through every ship in the game in alphabetical order, and then with the ships from the expansion after that, just to show you how each ship slides into its respective clip, so there's no confusion. If you have any questions at all about this product, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help in any way that I can. Thanks so much for joining me in this video, and if you buy this product, I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, remember, if you're playing, you're already winning.